Are you searching for personal development, motivation, self-help, success? John Maxwell. Well, you've come to the right place. Hang on.
Welcome to the Expect Success Podcast, a presentation of GeorgeBalek.com with your host, George Balek. This podcast is for all things personal development. Don't expect success, prepare for it. Please welcome your host, George Balek.
Welcome to Expect Success at GeorgeBalek.com. Now, in addition to listening to our podcast, you can also view the video format on YouTube at GeorgeTube.com. John Maxwell is an American author, speaker, and pastor who's written numerous books regarding personal development. His books have sold millions of copies, with some on the New York Times bestseller list. In May of 2014, Maxwell was named the #1 leadership and management expert in the world by Inc. Now today, John's going to share with us the #1 key to success. Listen to John.
Several years ago, I wrote a book called Failing Forward. Pretty much the thesis of that book is that failure, if you have the right response to it and the right attitude within it, is going to allow you to become successful. I believe that with all my heart. I'm glad you're with us today on Minute with Maxwell, because in this short time I have with you, I want you to understand that failure is not your enemy. Never has been, never will be. Now, my attitude about failure can be my enemy. If I look at it in a negative way, and if I allow it to begin to damage my self-image and begin to kind of take me off of task, it can become a tremendous enemy. But what I want you to understand is that it's not failure that's the problem. It's my response, a wrong response to failure, that's the problem. Here's the way this works. Failure works when you have a right response to it. Failure doesn't work when you have a wrong response to it. When you fail, you have basically a decision to make. Am I going to learn from the failure, which is very profitable? Or am I going to leave and run from the failure, which is very unprofitable and very hurtful? If I run and leave, I never learn, and I just repeat the failure, and I'm not going to be success at all. If I learn from the failure, I get better. And if I get better, guess what? On the other side of getting better, improvement is success. So when I wrote the book Failing Forward, I was just basically saying, fail forward. Every time you go down, just go down 2 or 3 feet further, get back up, make a little progress, keep failing forward. Don't fail backward, fail forward. If you have the attitude that I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to get better because of it, you'll not only fail forward, you'll find that failure teaches you so much and adds so much color to the success of your life.
That's awesome. Now, for more from John Maxwell, simply search YouTube and be sure to visit his website, johnmaxwell.com. My favorite John Maxwell book, and the one I recommend reading, is How Successful People Think. It's available at John's website and or Amazon.com. I'll be sure to leave a link in the show notes. And remember, as the late great Jim Rohn used to say, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Today you've been hanging out with John Maxwell. Keep up the momentum. Subscribe to our newsletter so you never miss another episode. We'll catch you on the next show, and thanks a million for listening. See ya.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Expect Success Podcast with your host, George Balek. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please rate, subscribe, and review. And find more great content online at GeorgeBalek.com and on Facebook and Twitter at George Balek. We'll catch you next time. And remember, don't just expect success, prepare for it.